And now, allow me to give the floor to the Prime Minister of the Republic of Croatia, Mr. Andrej Plenković. Andrej, the floor is yours.
Hvala lijepa, poštovani predsjedniče.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker of the Croatian Parliament, Honorable President Speaker of Verkhovna Rada, dear Ruslan. I welcome you and your entire delegation. Honorable President Zelensky, who is following this introduction of ours online, dear representatives and presidents of parliaments of the countries who came to Zagreb to join us and together with us give a strong support to Ukraine at this First Parliamentary Summit of the International Crimea Platform. I am glad that this meeting of ours is taking place in Zagreb, in the National and University Library, where we used to have the first activities of our Council presidency of the EU. And I would like to thank the Speaker of the Croatian Parliament to co-host the First Parliamentary Summit with Verkhovna Rada. Our conference is taking place in an environment when drones are attacking civilian targets and infrastructure in Ukraine to make additional damage in Ukraine before winter and to demoralize Ukrainian people. However, the Ukrainian people has shown for the past 8 months and 8 years that it is strong, that they will not be discouraged when their integrity is attacked and when they are labeled as Nazis. They've shown determination and decisiveness to fight for their freedom and territorial integrity. And precisely for that, we are here today to send 3 important messages, in my opinion. The first message is, as I said in Kiev, we have to say Crimea is Ukraine, Lugansk and Donetsk are Ukraine, and all the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine are Ukrainian. And with the support of the international community, Ukrainian fighters will achieve their freedom. The second message is that you, as parliamentarians, give support to your colleagues in Verkhovna Rada who work continuously even when their city is attacked, because they want to exercise the duty in even such difficult circumstances. The third message is that we have gathered here today to support world order based on rules, on international law. And this message is decisive this week when we've marked the Day of the United Nations. Dear friends, Croatia has continuously supported Ukraine, politically, diplomatically, financially, humanitarianly, and militarily. Us hosting this summit is showing again that we are standing by Ukraine in these difficult moments, that we are standing with our friends in need. We are doing this because today, morally, legally, and civilizationally, it is correct to take the side of Ukraine, because if you're not on the side of Ukraine, you're on the side of those who brutally want to achieve their aggressors' goals. Not to stand with Ukraine means to stand with the Kremlin in these shameful and painful times of human history. Not to stand with Ukraine means not to uphold the principles of law. Standing with Ukraine means being at the right side of history. Therefore, dear friends, we in Croatia who know what it is to be aggressed and to be denied the survival, we appreciate the fight for freedom and democracy. And we are glad that Europe and the world have not repeated the mistakes of some 30 years ago when we as Croatia did not have such an international expression of support as Ukraine has today. I congratulate you for that, because this is an expression of solidarity without precedent. Croatia in 1991 was one of the first states who supported Ukrainian wishes for independence. Tudjman, our president, went to Kiev in 1991, and Ukraine was one of the first countries to recognize Croatia. And Ukraine helped us militarily in those moments, and we will never forget that. And therefore, we had this time of unjust embargo on armaments, and we know how important it is to have international support. It was a pleasure for me to address the Verkhovna Rada last week. I've seen their enthusiasm, their courage. The same thing was going on in the Croatian parliament in the times of war. The Croatian parliament also adopted the decision on independence in the difficult times. Today, when we are gathered at this summit, I am glad that I can recall my role as the head of delegation of the European Parliament for the relationships with Ukraine. So I have been following this topic for the last 8 years. And therefore, the illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014 was, in fact, just a precursor of Russia's aggression and their denial of Ukrainians' will expressed at the referendum in 1991 when they said they wanted to be independent, Crimea included. And therefore, this summit is a message that the democratic world will never give in to Russia. The truth about the consequences of the Russian aggression against Ukraine and against Crimea means that we now recall the brutal violations of the rights of minorities, Tatar minority, and so on. Their culture, their education, their identity, their tradition is endangered. Russian aggression has used the Crimean scenario to occupy new areas of Ukraine. Attack, expel, organize sham referenda. This is a model that the democratic world will not accept. And therefore, the systematic militarization of Crimea, which is now a base for attacking the rest of Ukrainian territory, is not acceptable for the democratic world. Russia is denying access to the Council of Europe, to OSCE, and especially to organizations dealing with human rights. This strong support of the Parliament, including the declaration of the Croatian Parliament adopted on the 25th of February, means it is a message of solidarity. And therefore, it is important for us as an international community to remain united, to nurture international order based on rules, to recognize that Russia today uses energy as weapons to cause an energy crisis, to cause a financial and economic crisis and inflation. Russia weaponizes this to make the societies break away and to break the unity which is so strong today. And therefore, parliaments have a very important role in supporting their government to remain stable and united in their support for Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. And Crimea is a special symbol in that regard. We appreciate the heroism of Ukrainian defenders, and we will offer what Croatia has expertise in. We are today a free country thanks to our defenders. And we know that Ukrainian fighters today need experience in rehabilitation, in post-traumatic conditions, and something that we have been through, unfortunately, but we now can offer these experiences. We can also offer our experiences in demining the territory. Unfortunately, we have been demining our territory for decades now. Finally, I thank you for the invitation, and I want to conclude by saying that the brave Ukrainian fighters are the moral winners for all of us. This is why we have to support them in these times, which are the most difficult for them, and to welcome the steps forward that they've made in the past months with the support of all the countries here. You're not alone. You are fighting for justice, peace, and freedom. We are with us, and thank you for being here today. Glory to Ukraine.